Here's the truth that NFL executives don't want you to know. Sometimes, a single player acquisition can completely flip the power balance of an entire conference. And that's exactly what happened when Micah Parsons stepped onto the field at Lambeau Field for his Green Bay Packers debut. But here's where it gets controversial. Was giving Parsons the spotlight treatment over established veterans like Xavier McKinney actually the right move? Green Bay, Wisconsin. Picture this scene. Less than 24 hours before kickoff, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur picks up his phone to make a call that would set the tone for one of the most anticipated debuts in recent memory. On the other end, Micah Parsons, the defensive superstar who had just joined his new team barely a week and a half earlier. LaFleur delivered news that would send shockwaves through the Lambeau Field faithful. Parsons would receive the honor of being the final player announced during pregame introductions, a tradition typically reserved for team captains or long-established stars. For those unfamiliar with Packers tradition, Lambeau Field's public address announcer Bill Jarts follows a specific ritual during home games. He alternates between announcing offensive and defensive starters individually, calling out each player's position, college background, jersey number, and name in precise order. It's a ceremony steeped in decades of tradition. "We're going to give you that embrace that you deserve," LaFleur told his new defensive weapon, arguably the NFL's most dominant defensive force, acquired through what many are calling the most significant trade in recent Packers history. But here's where the politics get interesting. Safety Xavier McKinney, a reigning first-team All-Pro selection, typically claims that final announcement spot. Yet the Packers organization made a calculated decision that speaks volumes about their expectations for Parsons. "We talked about it," McKinney revealed, displaying the kind of veteran leadership that often goes unnoticed. "I understand completely. He's a massive addition to this team, a game-changing addition to this defense. And, honestly, give the fans what they want to see. I'm all for it every single time." The execution was pure theater. After announcing defensive end Rashawn Gary in the second-to-last position, Jarts deliberately extended his signature "and" to build maximum anticipation for the grand finale. The home crowd's response? Absolutely explosive. "That's incredibly meaningful that they orchestrated that for me," Parsons acknowledged afterward. "Now they can return to their regular order. I got that special feeling, and moving forward, whoever the veterans or team captains are, they can have that honor." McKinney's response reveals something deeper about team chemistry. "I'm not bothered by it at all. As long as we go out there and secure these victories and perform the way we just performed today, I'm completely satisfied." But here's what most people miss about this story. The real controversy isn't about announcement orders. It's about whether the Packers' performance actually justified the massive hype surrounding this acquisition. The way Green Bay dominated perfectly matched the anticipation building up to their heavyweight clash against the Detroit Lions. Now equipped with one of the league's most elite defensive players since his 2021 rookie season, the Packers and Parsons accomplished something remarkable. They flipped the script on Dan Campbell's squad, delivering the same type of dominating performance that Detroit had been inflicting on them at Lambeau Field in recent seasons. The final score? A statement-making 27-13 victory. This wasn't just about starting the season 1-0. This emphatic triumph sent a clear message that the gap between Green Bay and Detroit, and perhaps between Green Bay and the NFL's elite tier, has been dramatically reduced. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part most analysts are overlooking. Parsons participated in only 29 of 65 defensive plays, less than 45% of the total snaps. He's still recovering from a back injury, returning to full fitness after missing the entire training camp period with Dallas, and simultaneously learning the complete playbook under defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Yet in those limited 29 snaps, everyone inside Lambeau Field and watching on television witnessed exactly why the Packers made such a Herculean effort to acquire Parsons, and how devastatingly effective an already formidable defense becomes with him orchestrating the chaos. His presence? Simply being Micah Parsons, McKinney explained with genuine admiration. When you acquire someone of that caliber, that level of talent, you can literally place him on the field and tell him to just stand there. Before the snap even happens, opposing teams are frantically scanning for him, because if you're unprepared for his impact, you're in serious trouble. His mere presence on the field is intimidating for entire offensive units, and he didn't even play the complete game. Once he finds his rhythm and accumulates more repetitions, it's going to be absolutely spectacular. Let's break down Parsons' debut performance for those who might not understand the technical aspects of pass rushing. Parsons' inaugural snap, wearing green and gold, came during the Lions' first third down situation, a 3rd and 7 from Detroit's 27-yard line, with Green Bay already holding a 7-0 advantage. Initially appearing to power rush around right tackle Penei Sewell's outside shoulder, Parsons executed a brilliant inside move, swatting at Sewell's inside hand to gain leverage before applying immediate pressure on quarterback Jared Goff. Goff scrambled right and was forced into a short completion that resulted in a 2-yard loss, leading to a punt. His second official pressure, according to Next Gen Stats Analytics, occurred late in the second quarter during a crucial 3rd and 7 from Green Bay's 16-yard line. With the Packers maintaining a 17-3 lead and Detroit set to receive the second-half kickoff, Parsons noticed that the Lions hadn't shifted their protection scheme toward him, giving him another one-on-one matchup against Sewell. He communicated with defensive tackle Colby Wooden, positioned to his right, instructing him to power rush the right guard. Parsons executed a perfect jab step left, then juked back right to beat Sewell inside while Wooden occupied his assigned blocker. With Parsons closing in rapidly, Goff released a quick pass to receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown at safety Evan Williams intercepted. You create 3rd and long situations, even 3rd and short scenarios, and you understand that the quarterback must release the ball quickly, Williams explained, especially against a pocket passer like Goff, who can't scramble indefinitely. Seeing number 1, Parsons, rush onto the field definitely boosts confidence. You think, okay, here we go. Now it's time to provide coverage for a shorter duration, because the ball will be released quickly, and that reassurance absolutely helps us defensive backs. Parsons' lone sack came during garbage time in the 4th quarter, when he battled through traffic on the right side before crossing from outside the far hash marks to directly in front of the Packers' sideline, ultimately bringing down Goff. Next Gen Stats recorded Parsons at 18.47 miles per hour, though he estimated 21 mph and claimed he didn't even burst out at full speed. The sideline erupted, and Parsons raised his right arm triumphantly with his index finger extended. It resembled the speed of light or a shooting star descending from the sky and closing distance rapidly. LaFleur described with obvious excitement. That's precisely why he's here, right? That moment was genuinely thrilling to witness. Our crowd definitely reacted appropriately as well. I'm not sure I've heard our crowd any louder than during his introduction, and certainly during that sack sequence. He definitely possesses an undeniable aura. But here's the controversial question nobody's asking. Are we giving Parsons too much credit for what was essentially a team defensive performance? Those 3 statistical plays represent Parsons' main box score contributions, but his influence on Green Bay's defensive unit extended far beyond 3 pressures and 1 sack. Consider when he bulldozed Sewell directly into Goff's lap, forcing the quarterback to step up into a shared sack by Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary on 3rd and 6 from Detroit's 38-yard line, after Van Ness overpowered left guard Christian Mahogany. The Packers call this specific package, featuring Parsons and Gary on the edges, with Van Ness rushing from the interior, Cheetah. Or examine the play where Parsons occupied two blockers, while the Lions operated near their own end zone, leaving Wooden completely unblocked and resulting in a tackle for loss on 3rd and 16. It opened like the Red Sea, Wooden described with amazement. I thought, wow, they didn't block me. I simply made the tackle. Coach constantly emphasizes not getting tired making routine plays. A routine play is a tackle. Let's get off the field. Parsons himself is phenomenal, but he's going to elevate everyone on the Packers' defensive roster simultaneously. He observed that Detroit initially assigned just Sewell to handle him before gradually devoting additional help and slide protection his direction, which creates opportunities for teammates. That's the type of respect that must be earned. Parsons stated confidently, "You have to prove it on the field, so I had to demonstrate that I can beat their best player." And that's exactly what happened. The Packers' pass rush struggled with consistency last season. General Manager Brian Gutekunst's exact characterization, leading LaFleur to dismiss defensive line coach Jason Rebrovich and replace him with former Patriots defensive coordinator DeMarcus Covington. Despite this change, the Packers ranked 6th in both scoring defense and yards allowed per game, plus 4th in takeaways. Adding Parsons to this already solid foundation, and to a pass rush that desperately needed someone of his caliber, it's really going to force teams into impossible decisions, Gary explained strategically. You want to chip me? Perfect. He'll be free. You want to chip him? Great. I'll be free. We have Devontae Wyatt, Colby, Carl Brooks. We have numerous interior players capable of rushing effectively. It's truly just choosing your poison across our entire front. Adding someone like that only increases our confidence and creates better individual matchups. And this is the part most people miss. Only a couple of minor issues disrupted Parsons' otherwise flawless debut. First, he got completely lost during pregame warm-ups. Cowboys defensive linemen traditionally conduct pregame routines in the same far-right end zone corner that Packers offensive linemen use, so Parsons instinctively ran toward them before being redirected elsewhere. Second, the starting defense has a unique tradition of mimicking a basketball fadeaway jump shot when breaking their pregame 11-on-11 huddle. Parsons had absolutely no knowledge of this custom and delivered a noticeably delayed and half-hearted attempt. There were numerous things I needed to learn, he admitted, with a laugh. LaFleur also revealed that Parsons' 29 snaps were definitely more than they had anticipated him playing. Parsons finally came out late in the fourth quarter when LaFleur noticed him struggling for breath. Despite being physically drained, he chose not to receive a pregame injection for his back injury. Parsons committed to doing everything necessary to recover for Thursday night's matchup against the Washington Commanders at Lambeau Field. He expects his snap count to increase after handling Sunday's workload successfully and expressed complete confidence about being full go by the end of September. But here's where it gets controversial again. Is it wise for the Packers to rush Parsons back so quickly, especially with his injury history? Parsons still possessed enough energy to jog off the field alongside quarterback Jordan Love after their joint television interview with CBS sideline reporter Tracy Wolfson. Throughout his exit, Parsons repeatedly raised his arms to energize the crowd, celebrating his performance as he disappeared into the tunnel. The same tunnel he had burst through with such fanfare 3 hours earlier. This represents what football should be, Parsons reflected emotionally. The trade is completed, we secured a victory, we're 1-0. Now I'm surrounded by genuinely exceptional people, an outstanding organization, an incredible fan base, and a truly great football team. We can put all the outside noise behind us. I'm healthy, I'm capable of performing and preparing for another game Thursday night, and we'll just keep focusing on winning games and representing what football is truly about. So here's my question for you. Do you think the Packers made the right call giving Parsons the spotlight treatment immediately? Or should veteran players like McKinney have maintained their traditional roles, regardless of star power? And more importantly, can Parsons live up to this level of hype throughout an entire season? Or are we setting him up for inevitable disappointment? What's your take? Are the Packers genuine Super Bowl contenders now? Or are we getting caught up in the excitement of one impressive debut performance? Let me know in the comments. I have a feeling this topic is going to divide opinions pretty dramatically.